Good morning. It's Tuesday morning, and we are going through another transformation. So I have a question. If you win, do you also lose? So if you win, do you also lose? So I got a quote from Neil Donald Walsh, who's the author of Conversations with God. And here's the quote. If you think you have nothing to lose, you win. So if you think you have nothing to lose, then you win. Isn't that fascinating? On the other hand, if you think you have something to win, then you lose. Isn't that fascinating? So let's check this out. If you think you have nothing to lose, you win. What's that mean? Have you ever done something and you're about to do something you've never done? You go, well, shit, I got nothing to lose. And so no matter what you do, hey, you can fall miserably on your face, but at least you appreciate and you're grateful that you tried. As opposed to if you think you have something to win, you lose. If you have an expectation of an outcome and that outcome determines how you feel about yourself, then you lose every time. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but every winner eventually becomes a loser. And so is there expectation through life or is there appreciation? Now, how do we do this? Well, if you look at that, then you realize all of life is just a perspective. Isn't that fascinating? All of life is just a perspective. So how do we change our perspective? Well, we got to understand our reference points. So in the world, we have more people that are more valued on their humanity than they are on their divinity. So in our humanity, we come into a world that's all competition and comparison. Why is it competition and comparison? Why do we compare? Well, what we're really doing innately is we are seeking contrast or similarity. So we compare ourselves to another person because actually what it does is it helps us gain our identity about ourselves. And that's really our human part. The humanity part of us is comparing. And that sets us up for failure because then our self-identity can become related to either that similarity or that contrast. Now, I mean, hey, we study from people that are doing great things. We don't want to be like them, but maybe want to do similar things. But the question is, how do you feel about yourself? So anytime we compare, we compete, we give a label of winner or loser because every winner eventually becomes a loser. And every person that may lose, eventually may become a winner. So do you have expectation or appreciation? So the problem with winning or losing isn't the title. The challenge about winning or losing and assigning that to yourself is all about the identity of how you feel about yourself. So, hey, over the weekend I was flying home from Atlanta, gave an amazing transformational seminar, but on the plane back, I was watching the Olympics, and there was the women's, I believe it was freestyle 100 meter, and the two favorites were Australia and America. And so Australia ends up winning, and she wins the gold. America, I forget the person's name, wins the silver. And so they interview the American athlete afterwards, and they said, how do you feel about that? Man, you just lost by hundredths of a second, which that's always what it is. And she said, I did my best, and I actually swam my best time. So she was grateful. She was appreciative. She didn't win the gold. You work your whole life. It comes down to this moment, to tenths of a second, but what was her perspective? She had appreciation, not expectation. And so what does she leave with? She leaves a winner. If you had to define winner or loser, which it isn't, then she becomes a winner. Why? Because of appreciation and the gift. And that is the perspective of getting rid of those labels. Now, Bronnie Ware was a hospice nurse. She wrote a book, Top 5 Regrets. She takes people to her death. And of course, these people were giving their life story. There's tons of winners, tons of success. These people are climbing the ladder of success. Now they have a disease. Now they're on their last breath, their last days. And what was their biggest loss? Their biggest loss was not that they were successful. It was not that they were dying because they had tons of wins. Their biggest loss was they didn't fulfill their purpose. They may not even have been on their purpose. Now, isn't that fascinating? Because we come here, we're spirit first, we come here for a reason, we come here for a purpose. Our spirit knows these things happen in our life. We're raised in a human world, living by our five senses. Maybe we're not sure about the identity of ourselves. We're comparing and we're competing really just to get a reference point of how we feel about ourselves. And people strive for success. Hey, I was like that too. Strive for success, and then what's their biggest regret? They didn't live their purpose, because purpose gives our life meaning. Purpose gives our life meaning. Now, I was interviewing Neil Donald Walsh, Conversation with God, a while ago. This was like a year ago. And I go, man, Donald, you're helping millions of people around the world. And the next thing he said was life change. Man, you're helping people around the world. You're helping them connect with God inside them. And he said, and you're really fulfilling your purpose. And he said one thing here: change the way I viewed myself and my purpose. It was a life-changing statement. And he said, I have only one purpose in life, and that's to master myself. And I don't know if I'm going to do it in this life. And he said, because I master myself, I'm able to help millions of people. Oh my God, think about that. Think about your only purpose in life is to forget about comparison and competition, trying to set a reference point based on anything outside of you, and finding the kingdom inside of you, mastering yourself, and then having a vehicle that you can go out and love people and love humanity and love God. Isn't that amazing? Man, that made my life so much easier, because then we only have to focus on one thing. So I know in my life, going back decades, when I was in my 20s, I really didn't like people. Why? Because I didn't like myself. I was very patient out in the general public. I didn't like people. Then, in my 30s, I became a chiropractor. And then I learned, hey, you know what? I'm going to love my patients. So I loved my patients. As soon as I got a patient, my whole perspective changed. I saw God inside of them. I would be that way in my clinic. So I was able to develop a very loving, great practices. But when I went out in the general public, I didn't like people again. And I felt this within myself. I felt this contrast, but I didn't know not liking people was related to how I felt about myself. I didn't know that at the time. So then I get in my 40s. I get married when I'm 40. My wife passes away when she was 44. And then I'm like, I am tired of being this way. I want to I didn't say I want to learn how to love myself. I want to learn how to evolve, to create who God created me to be. Not because I want to change the world, just because one day I want to be that loving man that attracts an amazing woman. And what I find through that spiritual evolution, through writing You Are More Powerful Than You Think, through my 40s and into my early 50s, in my 50s, I actually began to love myself on a higher level. Isn't that amazing? I actually had moments of feeling my divinity. I actually had moments of loving myself like God loved me. And through my 50s, I began to love everyone. I began to love humanity. I began to express joy. Especially after 55, I began to actually exercise love, meaning compliment strangers, say hello, look people in the eye, smile all day long, to actually have joy and inner peace. And now that I'm 60, I definitely feel joy. I definitely love humanity. I definitely see the best in people. Now, am I like this all the time? No. But I have way more moments in my life that I am like that than when I'm not. In fact, when I'm not, that seems to be the exception and not the rule. But it took me 6 decades. Wow. That's a long time. It took 6 decades, because our ultimate purpose in life is to experience God consciousness, the divinity that's innately inside us. That is ultimately our purpose. In Genesis 1:27, you're created in the likeness and image of God. Man, if that is the truth, then we are spirit first. We are like God. And now Luke 17:21, the kingdom of God is within you. Matthew 6:33, but seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things will be added to you. Man, what if we start our day like that? What if we live our day like that? And then we go to Matthew 26, 36 through 40, and the apostles go to Jesus. Master, which is the greatest commandments? There are two commandments. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy soul, and all thy mind. What's that mean? When you love God, and we're creating his likeness and image, we love ourselves like God. And we realize that we're connected. God moves through us, and we experience God-like love within inside us. Then the next obvious thing is love thy neighbor as thyself. Isn't that amazing? And we learn to love ourselves because we know God moves through us. We feel the divinity inside us. We feel that spirit. We love ourselves. There is no winning or losing. There's only being. So what's going to matter the most in our life? How we loved. That's it. Now I had to watch my wife take her last breath to figure that one out so I could get out of judgment, get out of criticism, actually learn to love myself and realize there's only one purpose in life. Master ourselves, master the divinity, master God's love inside us, have that love flow through us to all humanity so we spread joy, we attain inner peace, and then the vehicle that you choose to spread joy, inner peace, and empowerment becomes your purpose. This is your purpose. Now with that purpose, there is no winning and losing. There is only success. Success becomes automatic at that point because what's in you is in everyone. What's in me is in you, and what's in you is in me, and what's in us together is in everyone and all humanity. When we choose to live this purpose, to just love, to feel God moving through us, success is our only outcome. And then what's the vehicle? I know the vehicle for me is chiropractic, is teaching doctors how to reach people, teach a healthy lifestyle, also spiritual self-empowerment, the whole YourMorePowerful.com healed system, the whole healed system, 6 steps to attaining a higher consciousness made easy. That's my purpose. That's the vehicle that I choose, but we all have the same purpose. Now you can make an impact on the lives of everyone you meet because there is no winning or losing. There is just being. So let's be the divinity that's inside us with the purpose that we came in here for. Okay, you guys, love you. Have an amazing day. Hey, going through this myself is a great reminder. I hope it's a great reminder for you. And please, just right now, share this on your timeline. Thanks tons. Love you guys. Bless you.